The significance of Palmyra. Palmyra was created and lived as the connection between the east and west of the ancient world. It was a massive connector of Damascus to the Euphrates River and a connecting city between the Roman Western world to Mesopotamia, the Middle East, and the Eastern world as a major trading post. Its system of writing Aramaic also made a monumental advancement into Mesopotamian cursive. Palmyra was a critical trading outpost in ancient times and changed hands between empires many times throughout thousands of years. History of Palmyra. Palmyra is now used to be named Tadmor before it fell under control by the Roman Empire. The name Palmyra means the city of palm trees, which is very appropriate for the oasis city northeast of Damascus, the modern capital of Syria. Though Damascus has been an incredibly influential city for thousands of years, the city of Palmyra is an extremely old city that has been brought up in tablets from nearly 22,000 years ago. Although it was mentioned from that long ago, it didn't gain its massive prominence until about 5,000 years ago, or the 3rd century BCE. Palmyra, which mainly is a city-state throughout its history, was conquered by the Roman Emperor Tiberius. But when Hadrian visited the city, he labeled it a free city, or civitas libera in Latin. After about 100 years, the Emperor Caracalla gave the city the title of Colonia, which made it a tax haven or a city free of taxation. Similarly to how modern-day Monaco works, as a tax haven, it can gain economic strength and power. Just like Monaco or Dubai, this caused an incredibly rich and great era for about 200 years in the 2nd and 3rd centuries after Christ. Withstanding the obstacles stopping trade to the east and the instability in the Roman-occupied Mediterranean. So, when the Sasanians took the Parthians' place in the southern part of Mesopotamia and Persia, they soon blocked the road to the east for Palmyran trade. Due to these difficulties, the family of Septimius Odenathus was granted rule by the Romans. Odenathus remained incredibly loyal to the Romans and fiercely defended the city. In the year 260 AD, the current Roman Emperor Valerian was captured by the now Sassanian king Shapur I. He severely defeated Shapur's army, and Shapur's return home after the sacking of Antioch as some kind of revenge because of the capture of the emperor. Then on the way back to Palmyra, he defeated the usurping emperor Heintius at what is now Homs, Syria, though used to be known as Emesa. As a gift for the valiant effort by the Palmyrian prince, the heir to Valerian, Gallienus gave Odenathus the title Governor of all the East, or Correctius Totius Orientis in Latin. The prince of Palmyra, Odenathus, and now governor of the Eastern Roman Empire, styled himself to be the king of Palmyra, and farther on as the king of kings. He was quite a valiant fighter on the battlefield, and pushed the Persians out of the Roman provinces of Mesopotamia and Osroene, of which he was governor. It is also suspected that he brought modern-day Armenia back under the empire's control. Somehow he restored rule by the Romans in the east, just before what would have been an expedition to rid Anatolia of Gothic invaders. Both Odenathus and his eldest son and heir, Herodes, were assassinated. Due to the heir being dead, his wife and now queen Zenobia took control of Palmyra. She did what her husband was going to do and reconquered Anatolia in the year 270. After her new success, she believed that she could declare Palmyra's independence, but she was then conquered by the angered Aurelian as he took control of Anatolia in 272. After only a year, Aurelian had reached Palmyra and razed it. It remained less powerful as the chief station of the road connecting the Euphrates River to the Damascus, until it was conquered by the first Muslim caliph Abu Bakr and the Arab general Khalid ibn al-Walid. While under the Muslim caliph's control, its trading importance slowly declined into irrelevance. How did Palmyra grow so rich? Palmyra grew so rich because of the connection between the Mediterranean empires of Rome and the Parthians, and later the Sasanian Empire, and finally Far East empires such as India. Its strategic location in an oasis and relatively close to the major city of Damascus. The city also was an important outpost on the major trade network known as the Silk Road. Its unique status under the Roman Empire as civitas libera, or free city, which made it a self-governing and thus tax-free state. This let the city prosper mainly throughout the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd centuries AD. History of the Palmyran language. Palmyra's language was quite ordinary for the time, as it was Aramaic, but had an incredibly interesting way of being written. Palmyra used 2 different interesting systems of writing from each side of the world the city was connecting. Palmyra used both a monumental script, which is like print, but also using a Mesopotamian cursive. While using this script, the Tariff of Palmyra was made, which is the longest engraved Aramaic inscription ever discovered. This great bilingual inscription gives us much information on how Palmyra's trade worked, such as the Palmyrans trading goods with cities such as Coptos on the Nile, in Rome of course, but also trading with something as far as India by the way of the Persian Gulf. ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, has been destroying many historical sites of Christian and Muslim religions. This has been used as propaganda on the internet and has made ISIS get more attention. ISIS has been bulldozing and blowing up incredibly historic parts of Mesopotamia, predominantly in eastern Syria and western Iraq. New footage came out that one of the ancient Palmyra's shrines to the ancient god Bel had been leveled by the terrorist group. This has led to many sites in Palmyra being destroyed and the incredibly historical site being dismantled more and more by the day. Thankfully, ISIS has lost control of their land in Syria, so they have lost control of Palmyra and has fallen back into the safer arms of archaeologists. Now that you have learned about the rise and fall of an ancient melting pot, I hope that you understand one of the centers of trade of the ancient and Roman world. Sadly, the city has fell out of significance due to Arab rule and now being destroyed by horrific terrorists. Always remember the great city of Palmyra. See you in 1 to 2 weeks on a video about the Roaring Twenties and the American Cultural Revolution before the Great Depression.